Hey guys, this is transformation specialist and sex addiction recovery coach Rob Lopicola, and I'm glad you're here today. This is such an interesting topic, and I was thinking about this recently because I had an experience, and I'm going to share it with you in this short video today. But the question is, can you truly be sexually addicted to a person? You know, we've heard of a 12-step group called Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, and of course, obviously, sex addiction is in there, but love addiction is as well. Can you actually be love addicted to a person? Well, the answer, of course, is yes to that. But studies have recently been established that point to the direction that yes, you can be sexually addicted to a person. And I have had my fair share of being sexually addicted to several individuals when I was deeply involved in my active sex addiction years ago. So that's what I want to talk with you about today. I'm sober from sex addiction, methamphetamine, and alcohol for nearly 12 years as the making of this video. So I am thrilled. And I would not refund, and I say this often, I wouldn't refund the life I have today, but that life of chaos. And I want to share with you real quickly here before we get into this video that being sober from sex addiction, drug addiction, and alcohol addiction is amazing. And if it wasn't, I would return to my sex, drug, and alcohol addiction. So if you're wondering if life is better sober, believe me, if it wasn't, I would return. And when I was deeply involved in my sex, meth, especially the chem sex scene and alcoholism, I felt like I was living the life. In fact, I had a boyfriend for a little while who was meth addicted as well, and I thought I was living the dream. Oh my gosh, I'm in a relationship with someone that's meth addicted like me, and we can have sex with everyone together. And I just thought that was the most ideal relationship. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't like him at all. No, I did not like him at all, and he was moving in with me. But things significantly changed at the time, and that didn't unfold. But that's where I was, and I thought I was living the dream in a chem-sex relationship. I certainly was very, very sexually addicted to him, and there have been several guys through the years that I was sexually addicted to. You know, who would think that? I don't know if you can relate. If you can relate, leave me a comment. I want to know if you have had experience sexually addicted to certain people. And also, I post a new video every Tuesday, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and hit the like button. I want to help as many people as I can who are struggling with sex addiction. And if you can help me do that by subscribing and liking and even throwing comments, it'll help the YouTube algorithm, and I can help more people. My channel's about a year old, and I really haven't pushed or driven it out there yet, but I'm trying to now. I would love your help, so if you could please help me with that to get my message out there to more people. But truly, have you been sex addicted to someone or several people through the course of your active sex addiction? Oh, I'd love to hear in the comments. I have, and I had an experience recently that made me think to do a video on this. So here we are today to talk about sex addiction to a person. I want to share this with you today because latest studies have tied being sexually addicted to a person to characteristic biochemical reactions occurring within the brain. These reactions involve such compounds as dopamine, oxytocin, vasopressin, and serotonin, and recruit brain regions known to play a role in the development of the creation of feelings of pleasure and the signaling of reward. Wow. And let me share this with you. When you are involved in your active sex addiction or involved with a person that you are sexually addicted to, your brain releases in the reward pathway 10 times more dopamine than the natural, normal, healthy reward. The brain remembers this surge and associates it with the addictive substance or behavior or person. Yes, you can in fact be sexually addicted to a person. And there were there were two individuals that I remember very clearly back in my active sex addiction days that I was so sexually addicted to. They were like gods to me. They were individuals that actually fed my sex addiction. Now, as far as I know, they didn't know each other, but they were two guys that I met. One was I think I met one at a club, and one I think I met on Grindr or out of Anime or something. And I was all addicted to those to those sites too, massively addicted to online stuff. But these two guys, I mean, my addiction just flourished when I thought of them, when I was going to meet them, and when I had a sexual encounter with either of them. My sex addiction was just flourishing. And I just looked at them as gods. They were just the solution to my loneliness. They were the icon of my sex addiction. I don't know if you can relate. I'm trying to put the words, the intense feeling I had for these two separate individuals. I wasn't in love with them. I didn't date them, but I frequently hooked up with them sexually, and it was in public places. It was in very risky situations. It was very dopamine, adrenaline, rush addicted. It was just so complex. And I mean, I would drive, if I had a 3-hour break at my job, for example, and they were an hour away, one of them or both of them, I would speed down I-95 in the Palm Beaches, rush for a 20-minute sexual encounter, and then speed back to where I needed to be when my break was over, rushing around in chaos and anxiety, and it was all part of that rush. Can you relate to this? I mean, I know I'm not alone. So if you feel like that you are sexually addicted to an individual, yes, you can be. So interestingly, literally about 2 months ago, I was visiting Fort Lauderdale, and I ran into one of the guys that I was so addicted. Now, he didn't know I was addicted to him to this day, but I was. And I ran into him at an event I was at. And he came up to me, and he, of course, commented about our last sexual encounter. And it just fascinated me because I'm so different today. I don't act out sexually. I don't have anonymous sex today. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I'm so conditioned to living a healthy life in a monogamous relationship today. But it was just so, when he came up to me, it was so, I remember just thinking like, wow, I was so addicted to him and I just didn't have any feeling whatsoever. There was no urge or craving or desire to pursue anything. And I was on Facebook like a week or two ago, and I'm scrolling through like people you may know, and this one guy came up who I was very, very sexually addicted to. In fact, when I was incarcerated, I ran into him briefly one day, and we had talked about our meth addiction and sex addiction a little bit to each other, but he was very triggering for me. Anyway, so scrolled across people you may know, and he shows up on Facebook. And I didn't feel it for him, but I remembered how strong that addiction was 15 years ago, 18 years ago, when I was involved in my sex addiction. He was kind of in my life at that time. And, I just felt compelled that the most healthy thing for me to do was to block him. And I did. I blocked him. We weren't friends, just people you may know, but I blocked him just so he doesn't show up. Because I have learned, for me to maintain my sexual sobriety today and maintain a life of peace and serenity, I must always do the things that build me up, make me feel good about myself, build my self-esteem and my confidence. And just by blocking him, not that I had a temptation, but just by blocking him supports the new man I am today. It supports and builds up my morals and values today. And it just gave me more strength, believe it or not. And I've learned during the course of the last 12 years in sobriety that the more I do to support my sobriety, to support my peace and serenity, to be an integral part of my spiritual development, even 12 years later in sobriety, to continue the process of growing spiritually and continuously being the man I have always dreamed to be. And I live that life today. And I want you to know it's possible for you too. No matter what you're addicted to, whether it's sexual behaviors, people you might be addicted to, drugs, methamphetamine, alcohol, you can get sober like I did. I was a mess. If you know anything about my story, believe me, I never believed I could live a sober life today. I never, ever believed that I can be sexually sober. I never believed it. But with strategies, techniques practiced and mastered, yes, I am a sexually sober man today, and you can be too. I want you to go on my website right now. When we're done with this video, I'll have the link below. I want you to do two things immediately. Download my free ebook, 5 Phases of Recovery and Transformation from Sex Addiction. 48-page ebook. There's so much information. It's free. Get it. And also, I have a 30-minute, 10-step strategy session to help you build a life free from your active sex addiction. Go to my website right now. The link's below. Take advantage of it. Believe me, I have been where you are, and I love where I am today. And I want you to meet me where I am today. So take in my experience, strength, and hope, and the strategies and techniques I've learned, practiced, and mastered from my coach, from my spiritual advisor, who changed my brain. And I want to help you change yours too. I am grateful you spent time with me today. This was very interesting for me, and I hope it was interesting for you too. And I post a video every Tuesday, so if you haven't subscribed, subscribe right now and hit that thumbs up. You have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday. Take care.